Our day starts at 3 in the morning. We usually go out, gas up, and normally before sunrise, we are heading up to the land bank area to do our catch of the day.
Sus días empiezan antes de despuntar el sol. Como trabajadores del mar, los pescadores avanzan en la oscuridad para comenzar otra jornada. Para conseguir la mejor pesca del día, tienen que empezar temprano. Dependiendo de lo que esperan capturar, el tiempo y las artes cambian. Distintas especies de peces tienen patrones de actividad variados. Así es la rutina diaria de la mayoría de los pescadores en las Islas Vírgenes estadounidenses, en donde la pesca comercial es relativamente pequeña y artesanal. Los pescadores de St. Croix no son la excepción. Para Gerson Nicky Martínez, pescador comercial, revisar las nazas liberadas un día antes es el primer intento para obtener su captura diaria.
Then we go and we do a variety of fishing. If we see traps, and if you have to pull traps that day, we pull no more than 20 traps. Then we do 2 or 3 dives according to what we already have in the boat, what already has been caught.
St. Croix is more of a dive fishery. A lot of their landings come from diving. They would go out on a daily basis. They can dive conch, they can do spear fishing, they can catch lobster. They have a very small trap fishery here in St. Croix compared to St. Thomas. St. Thomas, St. John is more of a trap fishery.
So here in St. Croix, even if you're 8 miles away from St. Croix in the east end, you have areas up to 43 feet of water. So since we have a lot of shallow areas, a lot of fishermen move into that, and it's a way of fishing where you leave 5 o'clock in the morning and by 12 you're back home.
Pero antes del regreso a casa, el pescado fresco es entregado según el pedido para ese día.
We have 2 vendors that buy our fish from us for wholesale price. So when we get back every day, my son and my brother leave in a different truck to deliver the lobsters, and myself, I come straight to the market, and we have people that we sell our catch to wholesale.
Los mercados de pescado fresco están en 2 puntos principales, abiertos diariamente de 11 de la mañana a 1 de la tarde. Son el lugar perfecto para comprar la pesca del día. Los consumidores en St. Croix prefieren el pescado de acuerdo a la medida del plato, y el pez loro es el principal alimento básico.
We have probably 15 fishermen that come here every single day from Monday to Saturday. We sell local reef fish, we sell lobster. When the season for the conch is open, we also sell conch here.
It's been here for about, I would say, 6-7 years in this particular spot. And it started out with me and my grandpa, Jesus, and a friend of ours named Melo Martinez. And we started out here, and we had a good clientele. Like, a lot of people know us for fish. So the most species I get is the spiny lobster, the parrotfish, triggerfish, and the variety of snappers and groupers. So, and not like the big groupers, like I'm talking about the hinds, the conies, those species, those are the ones I do every day. And every day I sell them out. I do good. Marketing is very good on the island. Locals love the fish.
Los pescadores de St. Croix no capturan más de lo que puedan vender. La mayor parte de su producto ha sido prevendido antes de llegar a la orilla.
Everything I catch, I sell. I don't catch nothing that I can't sell.
Con el pasar de los años, las técnicas de pesca e instrumentos han variado. Ahora la mayoría de los pescadores comerciales son buzos. No obstante, las redes, líneas, anzuelos y nazas figuran entre las artes de pesca más utilizadas. Los pescadores construyen sus propias trampas o nazas utilizando diferentes materiales.
The chicken wire is still used. The chicken wire is still used in most of the Caribbean, but I use this because it's more available. That's availability.
Existen otras artes de pesca tan simples como las líneas y los anzuelos.
When I started catching the octopuses from a guy from Vegas, he taught me how to catch them. I love it. I love it. I've been doing it since 12. I love it. You know, I use a hook to catch the octopus. I use this. This is what you use to get them out of the hood. I have this hook for about 4 years now.
Hay artes de pesca que de por sí son arte. Tejer redes y construir nazas requiere de mucho tiempo, práctica y creatividad. Como en otras islas caribeñas, St. Croix posee una economía a base del turismo, que está unida a los beneficios provistos por los recursos marinos, incluyendo la pesca comercial y recreativa. La más grande de las Islas Vírgenes tiene 28 millas de largo por 7 de ancho. Su ascendencia danesa se refleja en Christiansted en el este, con su paseo tablado en el puerto. Punta Udall, con su reloj de sol conocido como el Monumento del Milenio, es el punto más oriental de Estados Unidos, incluyendo sus territorios. Frederiksted en el oeste sobresale por sus aguas calmadas y su puerto naturalmente profundo. Con una población de unos 50,000 residentes, St. Croix mantiene una larga tradición pesquera, resultado del encuentro de distintas culturas.
Overall, the fishing industry here in the Virgin Islands, it's really culturally rooted, and economically we are always committed to ensuring that it continues to be a vibrant part of our economy. The last assessment that the department was able to produce showed that the Virgin Islands fishery, it contributes to the economy approximately $7 to $10 million annually. We know that fishers, they are able to provide hotels and restaurants with daily catch, and we know that the catch is able to not only feed Virgin Islanders but the tourists that come here on a daily basis. And as we speak about fishers, we don't want to forget also our recreational fishers in the territory. Again, it's how I believe individuals become commercial fishers.
In the Virgin Islands, I think the annual consumption is 27 pounds per person, while in other places it's only like 7 or 8 pounds per person when it comes to eating fish. We don't export any of our fish. All our fish is consumed locally. So whatever fishermen we have on St. Croix doing commercial fishing, they sell all their fish locally to the consumers, which ends up being well over 800,000 pounds a year of all species put together.
When you look at the food chain, my look for the fisherman, that he's a public servant. Because when you look at the food chain, and especially here in the Caribbean, the importance of seafood on so many diets, that I look at the fisherman as a devoted person.
Con el fin de proteger el recurso, las actividades pesqueras son reguladas a nivel local y federal. El Departamento de Planificación y Recursos Naturales tiene jurisdicción en las aguas locales y el Consejo de Administración Pesquera del Caribe en la Zona Económica Exclusiva. Establecido por la Ley Magnuson-Stevens 1976, es uno de 8 consejos regionales para la conservación y manejo de los abastos pesqueros del Caribe estadounidense.
Our role is to prepare a management plan for the U.S. Caribbean that includes Puerto Rico and the U.S. Virgin Islands. And we do that by preparing management plans that encompass the science, the socioeconomy, the biology, the habitat of the area. And then looking at the information that we get from the fishers, the scientists, the council then decide the best strategy to manage those fisheries.
Temporadas de veda, límites de captura anual, cuotas y planes de manejo son parte de los mecanismos utilizados por las agencias para proteger los abastos de peces, permitiendo que estos se reproduzcan y asegurando la pesca para futuras generaciones.
Well, we have seasonal closures, which I am pro regulations because it helps promote the fish to spawn and procreate. We have been seeing over the years the snapper close area, the queen conch 5-month closure. It has been working. We see how the lobster, the conch, and all those species have been procreating in abundance. We have a lot of abundance in conch. We have a lot of abundance in lobster here in this island.
So we want to make sure that the fishery itself remains healthy and that people can provide the fish that are needed by local communities We want to keep the fishermen in a situation where they're making reasonable profits, but at the same time, they're not taking so many fish that it jeopardizes the fish stock's ability to replenish itself for the future. We want this to go on for a long time.
Considerando que las pesquerías de cada isla tienen características particulares, el Consejo trabaja en planes de manejo individuales.
So the rules are being set for the island-based areas which affects only that island, which is, I think we fought hard over the last 5 to 10 years to get this accomplished, because before everything was based on one. So in other words, if a fishery was shut down in Puerto Rico, it was also shut down in the U.S. Virgin Islands. Now, if there's an overrun on an ACL in Puerto Rico, it only affects Puerto Rico. If there's an overrun in St. Croix, it only affects St. Croix, and the same for St. Thomas, St. John also.
Los pescadores son un activo clave para la ciencia y manejo. Como están todos los días en el mar, pueden proveer información y contribuciones valiosas para la protección y uso sustentable de los recursos marinos.
I represent the fishermen of St. Croix through the FAC, which is the Fishery Advisory Committee, and I'm also a district advisory panel member. But with the council itself, I go to some of the meetings. If the council realize that I have any questions or any support that I can give into whatever regulations they're doing, they call upon me to go to these council meetings to represent that questions or to represent whatever questions my fishermen have.
La temporada de huracanes 2017 causó devastación a estados y territorios de Estados Unidos. Irma y María fueron huracanes mayores que causaron daño significativo a Puerto Rico y a las Islas Vírgenes estadounidenses.
After both hurricanes hit the territory, the fishery basically came to a standstill because most of the fishers, they lost their gear, whether it was their fishing vessels. A lot of fishers, they do fish trap, and they lost most of their fish traps to the hurricane. So a lot of the fishers, they had to do other things to supplement their fishing.
Our immediate response was to now reach out to the recreational and the commercial fishers in the territory to see what damage they had suffered and what we could do to help them rebuild their livelihood. In coming up with a numeric value or monetary value to the damages that the Virgin Islands had suffered, what the division did was it spearheaded these post-hurricane assessments on the commercial fishers and the vessels for hire and fishery-related businesses in the territory.
And as a result of that, the Virgin Islands, we have been able to receive from the federal government $10 million in funding.
Grandes áreas de la isla sufrieron impactos en la infraestructura. Las comunidades pesqueras de St. Croix fueron seriamente afectadas, pero ya están abiertas para negocio.
It did some affect the ocean. It really messed up a lot of my areas where I do real good, nice catch. Some of the cave them are covered with sand, some break away, but the fishes and the lobsters they just keep coming and finding shelter wherever they can, and it's still healthy ground.
After Hurricane Maria, we have been having a success with sales. A lot of locals have been helping us out and buying the local fresh fish. So after Maria, we have been getting rid of all our catches.
Even though the hurricanes may come, and for our part, we think it damages the reef. On the other end of nature, it maybe was necessary to do the cleaning from the pollution that maybe we have created sometimes. So it's a cleaning process. So the reef comes back.
Los pescadores cruzanos están en camino a la recuperación. El Consejo de Administración Pesquera del Caribe está trabajando con ellos de cara al futuro.
Immediately after the hurricane, the governor normally implements a curfew, and the fishermen had issues with that because they cannot go out of their house for like 12 hours a day, so they could not go out and fish. Because there's no power, they was hoping to bring back fresh fish for the people of the Virgin Islands that were needing of fresh food. They were just not given the opportunity without a curfew pass. But we're going to be looking at that and trying to work with the government to issue the fishermen curfew passes to be able to go out and feed the people.
St. Croix es punto de encuentro para viejas generaciones de pescadores, las presentes y las que están por venir. Pescadores y agencias trabajan juntos hacia la sustentabilidad para asegurar la salud del ecosistema y garantizar pesquerías prósperas para la socioeconomía. Como Tom Daly sabiamente dice,
Our culture tells us that you paddle your own canoe. You paddle your own canoe.